Night never truly began in this city, because even when darkness arrived, something remained awake: the bell. Its sound was heavy, soft, yet unavoidable. Each toll lingered in the air, drifting slowly before striking the stone walls and returning. People began measuring time by the bell. Some counted the strikes. Others eventually stopped, because the higher the count grew, the fewer doors remained in the city. Some houses never opened their curtains, even during the day. When light entered, people were afraid to see their own faces. The paleness in the mirror was more honest than the fever. The church doors were locked, yet the bell continued to ring. No one climbed the tower anymore, because the last one who did never came back down. No one searched for him. To search meant contact, and contact meant a mark. If someone were walking through the city at night, you would hear footsteps. But no one walks anymore. Only the wind moves. As it passed through empty houses, it carried whisper-like sounds, as if the homes were telling each other something. Some believed the bell no longer rang for the dead. They thought it was counting the living, who remained, who was still breathing. One morning, there was a table in the market square. Nothing rested upon it. People avoided looking at it, because the table would soon be filled. At night, people shifted in their beds. Sleep came, but it brought no comfort, because in this city, sleep was a doorway, and everyone knew what waited beyond it. Sometimes the bell seemed to pause for a moment. In that instant, people held their breath. Then it rang again, and everyone felt relief, because something that continues is less frightening than something that ends. No one spoke of the future anymore, only of tomorrow, and tomorrow was growing smaller. Now, as you listen to this story, you are safe. This city asks nothing of you. It simply allows you to sleep. The bell keeps ringing, and the city is still waiting.
The sea was unusually calm that night. There was no wind. The waves were in no hurry, as if the water itself was waiting. The harbor town dimmed its lights early. Fishing boats were tied, nets were folded, but one ship had not returned. No one spoke its name aloud, because things named at sea do not always come back. The lighthouse at the edge of the harbor burned steadily, as it did every night. But this time, its light wasn't guiding ships, it was searching. Hours passed. The beam kept turning. The horizon remained empty. Everyone raised by the sea knew one truth: when the ocean grows quiet, something is wrong. Late into the night, the waves struck the shore differently, heavier, slower, as if the sea did not wish to release what it carried. Before dawn, a thick fog settled, so dense that sea and sky became one. The horizon vanished. Directions lost meaning. And then, the people realized the waiting was not over. At sunrise, something returned. But it was not the ship. Only a piece of wood washed ashore. There was no name carved into it. Yet everyone recognized it. No one cried to mourn what the sea to kisses to anger it. Instead, doors were closed, windows covered, and everyone agreed not to look in the same direction. At night, the sound of the waves changed. No longer rhythmic, no longer calm, as if the sea was carrying something within it. Some claimed they heard a sound at night, a muffled voice rising from beneath the water, calling their names. No one answered, because those who answered the sea do not return to land. The lighthouse still burns, but no longer for ships. It feels as though the sea's counting what it brings back. Now, as you listen to this story, the sound of waves may feel familiar, but this sea's not just water, it remembers. And there are still those who have not returned.
The village of Greymore was never meant to survive winter. It was built too far from the main roads, surrounded by black forests and marshlands that swallowed sound. Snow arrived early there, heavy and silent, covering the roofs like burial cloths. And yet, Greymore endured, until the bells began to ring. No one remembered who had built the bell tower. It stood at the edge of the village, leaning slightly, its stones darker than the rest older somehow. The bells inside had not been rung in generations. The ropes were said to be rotten, the mechanisms frozen by time. But on the first night of the long winter, just after midnight, a single bell rang, low, Distant, final. The villagers woke in confusion. Some thought it was the wind. Others claimed they had dreamed it. But the dogs howled, and the horses refused to move the next morning. By the third night, the bells rang again. This time, 3 times. Each ring echoed unnaturally long, as if the sound itself refused to fade. Children covered their ears. Old men crossed themselves. The priest locked the church doors and refused to speak of it. Then people began to disappear. Not violently, not suddenly. They simply did not wake up. Families found their loved ones sitting upright in bed, eyes open, faces calm, as though listening to something only they could hear. No wounds, no sickness, just silence where breath should have been. With every death, the bells rang again. Always at the same hour, midnight. The snow grew deeper. Paths vanished. The forest pressed closer, branches bending toward the village like watching limbs. Fires burned lower each night, no matter how much wood was added. And the bell tower, it straightened, stone by stone, night by night. It seemed to stand taller. One man, Edric, the miller, claimed he saw shadows climbing the tower stairs after the bells rang. Long shadows, to many joints, moving without sound. No one followed him to look. On the 7th night, the bells did not ring. Instead, there was silence so complete it hurt the ears. People waited, prayed, listened. Then, softly, from beneath the snow-covered ground, something answered. A ringing, muted, buried, as if the earth itself had learned the sound. By morning, half the village was gone. No tracks, no signs of struggle, only empty homes and frost-covered beds. When the remaining villagers finally fled Greymore, they did not look back. But travelers still speak of that place. They say that on winter nights, when the world is quiet enough, you can hear bells ringing beneath the ground, calling those who are listening to lie down and never wake again.
The sickness did not arrive loudly. There were no screams at first, no panic, no warning bells. It came quietly, carried in breath. The city of Haveth was proud of its walls. High stone, thick gates, protected from war, from thieves, from famine. But walls do not stop the air. The first man to fall was a baker. He finished his work, closed his shop, went home. In the morning, his oven was cold, his door unopened, and the smell of bread never returned to that street. People said it was exhaustion. Winter had been long, food had been scarce. No one used the word plague. Words give shape to fear. Then coughing began. Not loud, not violent, a dry sound, as if the body was trying to remember how to breathe. The priest prayed louder. The bells rang more often. Incense filled the church until the air itself felt heavy. And still, people stopped waking up. Homes were marked with chalk. At first, a single line, then a symbol, then entire streets were painted white. The city grew quieter, not because people were gone but because they were afraid to speak. The dead were buried quickly, too quickly. No names, no prayers, no goodbyes, just earth pressed down on warm bodies. At night, something strange happened. The city sounded full. Breathing echoed through the streets, slow, labored, as if the ground itself had not finished exhaling. Gravediggers refused to work after sunset. They claimed the soil moved, that it rose slightly, then fell again, like a chest. One night, the bell stopped. No midnight prayer, no morning call, only silence. And in that silence, people realized something terrible. They were listening to make sure they were still breathing. By the time the gates were opened, there was no one left to leave, only doors left ajar, beds still warm, bowls of food untouched, and beneath the city, layer upon layer of breath, finally held. Now, when travelers pass through Haveth, they say the air feels wrong, too still, as if the city learned something from the dead and never let it go.